Hello everyone, good evening. Welcome to Afsala 24/7. My name is Niharika Valia Bhatnagar and I'm with you with the area of AFM. Everybody audible clearly? Okay. Everyone, as you know, that this is the new series that we have just recently started. In this specific series, we are covering up the entire topic from the point of view of the mixed series, as the total series is already over, right? The previous series was basically someone which was based upon the individual chapters, and this is a mix of all the chapters together. So if you're looking forward towards individual chapters, please go ahead and watch the previous playlist, and for chapter wise issues, go ahead and check it out on our in our present classes, right? Okay, now comes the next pointer. What are we dealing with today? uh we are dealing with a few questions which are theory, a few which are practical. I think today we'll be going with the costing area a lot. There are many questions which are based upon costing area, and you don't have 5 points in your examination, you get 4, and thankfully you don't have any negative marking as well. Okay, chaliye. Now let's begin with the session. What do you mean by PV ratio? PV ratio is basically a specific ratio which says the formula is contribution divided by sales. When the sales increase from 40 to 60, matlab this is change in sales and change in profit. Okay, there are different ways. In this case, they're talking about the profits and changes. Na change in profit upon change in sales hoga. The profit increases by 5,000. The sales increases from 40 to 60, it is 20,000. So, what's the answer? Kindly find it in percentage, everyone. When you divide 5 by 20, this turns out to be 25%. So, correct answer is C. This is change in profit divided by change in sales. This is profit volume ratio, also called PV ratio. If the changes are given, then it's a different scenario. And if the changes aren't given, then this would be the case. Done? Next question. State which of the following are the characteristics of service costing. What do you mean by service costing, everyone? Everyone? Service costing is what exactly? But the service costing is specifically um, a costing format which really is based upon only one thing, the services that we are providing. It is also called operating costing. Okay, this is a kind of costing in which we are not making a good. If I am making a good, then obviously you can find the cost of it easily. Cost of material, cost of everything can be separated properly. But in terms of service costing, can you find anything? It's hard to find. People are giving time to it, and then you have to find the value of it, है ना? So high levels of indirect costs are as proportion to total cost. Indeed, they have more of indirect cost because there is no direct cost, because there is no production. If a doctor is providing a service, he's not producing anything, he's just giving a pure service, but it has a cost because that professional is going to give you time, है ना? Use of composite cost units and use of equivalent units. They cannot use equivalence units, everyone. A few things are in hours, a few things are in times, a few things are in minutes. Everything is going to vary based upon the service, है ना? There can be things which are based upon minutes, there can be things which are based upon time in terms of hours, or it can be based upon days as well. So technically you won't find equivalent units, right? So in this case the correct answer is only 1 and 2. The answer could be only 1, 1 and 2, 2 or 2 and 3. The correct answer is 1 and 2 only. Acha, an important question again. This is a question from standard costing, everyone. A very important topic. Material usage variance plus material mix variance, material price plus material usage, material price plus material yield, material mix plus material yield. What's the answer according to you? Basically now, MCV, that is material cost variance, is equal to material price variance plus material usage variance. So what's going to be right? The correct answer is MCV is equal to MPV, that is based upon price, and the one is based upon usage. Okay, what kind of material is used where exactly? So in this case, the correct answer is MPV plus MUV. Check this out, everyone. I hope this is clearly visible. This is a very important area to cover. Okay, this is let me show you the formula as well. Visible now, everyone? Material cost variance is equal to MCV. MCV is standard minus actual cost. The best thing is you can take a screenshot of this area so that you know each and every formula by heart. First is MCV, standard cost minus the actual cost. How do you find it? You find MPV. Price na, you keep the price outside. Matlab, this is basically, sorry, if MPV is given na, whatever is the price, that would be inside. If you are looking forward towards usage, your quantity is going to be inside. So MPV says standard price minus actual price into actual quantity, and material usage is standard quantity minus actual quantity into standard price. Done, everyone? So that's it. Just have a quick look at it again. Take a screenshot, then we'll move on. Done, everybody? Now let's move on. Okay. Next question, everyone. It says that the current assets are of 5 lakh, current liabilities are of 1 lakh, and then we have the revenue from operations 28 lakh. Find the WCTR. What do you mean by WCTR? Working capital turnover ratio is basically revenue from operations divided by current assets minus current liabilities. This is nothing but working capital. So go ahead and solve it up, everyone. Take a moment and solve it up. Everybody, what's the answer? Chaliye. Now let's find the answer as well. Now in this case, revenue from operations is given now. Revenue from operations is 28 lakhs. Your sales is 28 lakh divided by revenue from operations is done. Current assets is of 5 lakh and the current liabilities is of 1 lakh. So you get 28 lakhs divided by 7 lakhs. Oh, 5 minus 1 is 4, sorry. And this gives us 7 times. Okay, the answer is 7 times. 4 sevens are 28. So in this case, the correct answer is times. Working capital turnover ratio means to produce something, how many times you have to keep on putting working capital in it. Done, everyone? The answer is 7 times. Which of the following are original statements? Fund flow, financial statements, cash flow, or working capital? They're talking about original statements, everyone. Original means from which the ultimate things are created. There's a difference now. In this case, what's happening is which of the following is original? Original matlab this is the one from which the other things are prepared or made. है ना? There's a difference ना? Fund flow is created out of the balance sheet. ठीक है? Then financial statements are prepared from the journal ledger trial balance. So there is no specific big thing which is finalized already and on the basis of which balance sheet is prepared. Cash flow statement is prepared again from the balance sheet which is finalized. Then working capital statement is also prepared after we have created the balance sheet. So technically there's only one point which is original in nature from which other things are created. We are not challenging the authority or authenticity of anything because ultimately you need to know about the financial aspect of the things. Right? So in this case, the correct answer is financial statement. Next question, everyone. Which of the following are true? Everyone, which of the following are true? Payback period method considers all the flow of the project. Payback period method concerns more with the recovery of the cost than profitability. Payback net present value, this is a part of capital investment decisions. NPV, net addition to the wealth of the shareholders, or accounting rate of return method incorporates risk as well as time value of money. Choose the right option, everyone. A and B, A and D, B and C, and B and D. What's the correct answer? In this case, see, payback period considers all the project. No, payback is obsessed with only one thing, whether you have got the money or not. ठीक है, payback period is talking about whether you have recovered the money that you were supposed to pay or not. That is payback period. So first one is definitely wrong. Second can be right, that it is related to the recovery of the amount that we have invested. So this part is correct. Then NPV represent net addition to the wealth of the shareholder. That is also correct. It does that. Now the accounting rate of return incorporates risk. No, it just talks about the return that the organization is making over a specific capital investment decision it has taken. So technically that's a wrong answer. Okay, so in this case only B and C are correct. So A and B as an option, wrong. A and D as an option, wrong. B and D as an option, wrong. B and C is correct. The correct answer is C, everyone. Twisted question, an interesting one for sure. Everyone, what's the main difference between marginal and absorption costing? Absorption costing talks about all the kind of costing. They're worried about fixed as well as variable as well as semi-variable. Marginal costing is basically worried about only and only one thing. Its name is also even interchanged with that type of cost. Is it direct cost, fixed overhead, or variable overhead, or semi-variable overhead? When we talk about the marginal costing, this is related to the area of the growth in sense. When we talk about marginal costing, this is based upon the variable cost increasing. That's because more input is given to that. Everybody, what's the answer? The correct answer is variable overheads. Then everyone, the correct answer is variable overhead. No, no, it's not semi-variable. The main difference lies in variable. Let me change the answer. The main thing that actually affects is marginal cost is cost's other name is variable overhead. Which of the following is a subvariance of labor efficiency variance? Subvariance. Matlab labor efficiency variance has given rise to which? Idle time, mix variance or yield variance? What's going to be the answer, everyone? Under labor efficiency variance, na, it actually includes everything. It includes all of these. Subvariance of labor efficiency. Labor yield is not a part of it. Every part is this. नहीं, labor mix variance. नहीं, this is a part of LUV. ठीक है. In terms of efficiency, it is only labor yield. That is correct. Huh? Idle time variance is a different one. For how much time the organization people are absolutely free to labor idle time variance. So this is also correct. Financial statements provide a true and fair view if everybody, what's the answer? Financial statements provide a true and fair view. It is free from any material error and bias. It is prepared using the appropriate accounting policy and applicable accounting standards. It is prescribed in the format described by the regulator or the absence of prescribed format. It is prepared in a manner that facilitates analysis of the financial statements and performance of the reporting enterprise, or D. It confers to all of these points. The correct answer in this case is actually it confirms all. In this case, it provides a true and fair view when all of these encumbrances or problems are not there in the house. Next question, everyone. The most suitable coverage ratio for deciding the debt capacity of a firm is interest coverage ratio, cash flow coverage ratio, debt service or fixed asset. पता है, as per the entire area ना, coverage ratios are super important. So for this, the debt service coverage ratio is constantly asked in the examination. So the correct answer is DSCR. Okay, before I end my session, everyone, let me show you our website. And hello and good evening, everyone. Welcome to Officer 24/7. My name is Niharika Walia Bhatnagar, and I am with you with the area of AFM. In the last class, we had started, actually in this series, I'm covering the entire different questions which can come in the examination along with a mixture of PYQs, yani previous year questions. So first of all, if you like this particular session, then please go ahead and share it among your peers and like it as well. Number two, for individual chapters, what you can do is you can watch out for the entire playlist which was there in the previous area. It was known as Sankalp series, right? The particular series was going on. You can review our series that was there. There are two series which were going on. For JIB, this was the specific series which we had taken up. For the specific area, it was Achievers series. The name of the particular series was Achievers, in which I've covered individual chapters separately. And now I've started with the mixed series, which is a cluster of multiple chapters that I'm covering every single day in the form of questions. Today we are going to have a mixture of practical as well as theory questions, and we are also going to cover standard costing as well as matlab today it's more of module A, B and module D. So let's begin with the session, everyone. First of all, please like it and share it among your peers. Here comes the practice questions. The first question says, which of the following is not a method of charging depreciation? Sinking fund, sum of year digit, working hours, or the asset life cycle method? What's the answer, everyone? See, sinking fund is a given method, है ना? Then second point is sum of year digit is also a method. Working hours is also a method. Asset life cycle जैसा कोई method नहीं है. There is no method named this asset life cycle. So in this case, what's correct and what's not? Asset life cycle. There is nothing called asset life cycle, everyone. ठीक है? Okay. Let's move on to the answer there. Asset life cycle, as I told you. Okay, now let's move on to the next question. Amount due on the calls made but not paid is known as what? We have some amount which is due but we haven't paid it yet. What will you call it, everyone? Amount due, matlab basically the amount due simply means the amount that we have already made due. Matlab it is currently we have asked people but they haven't paid yet. It is calls in advance. If people pay in advance, it is called calls in advance. Calls in arrears is the calls outstanding. When we talk about these areas, na, calls in arrear, calls in advance, after the introduction of demat account, these two things are gone. They don't exist anymore now. Done. Now comes unpaid amounts or the defaulting amount. These are not even something which is written to the area of share capital at all. Only the part which is relevant is basically calls in advance and calls in arrears. Done, everybody? So in this case, the correct answer is demat account, and we are talking about calls in arrears is the one. ठीक है? The answer is calls in arrears. चलिए, now let's talk about the next point. The matching concept matches the following. अच्छा पता है, most of the time I have seen that bankers make mistake. Rather, not only bankers, everybody who is relating to this area of accounting, na, the beginners normally make this mistake. The mistake is the matching concept matches with which of the following. Now people think that the dual aspect concept is this only. That means debit side is equal to credit side, but that's not the case. Assets with liabilities, capital with income, revenue with expenses, or expenses with capital. What's the answer in this case, everyone? It is not debit equal to credit. But always remember, it is dual aspect concept. That every debit has a similar amount, or actually the equal amount of credit. Total of debit side and total of credit side will always match. Obviously, the amounts can vary on both the sides, right? It's going to be assets with the liabilities, capital with income, revenue with expenses, expenses with capital. In this case, the matching concept matches which of the following? Matching concept is basically matching concept is based upon one thing. See, randomly I was telling you कि पता है I earned 10 lakh this year. You said cool, that's your income ना. मैं कहा yes, this is my income, 10 lakh. But पता है, to earn this 10 lakh I had to spend 8 lakhs. Now when I said to earn 10 lakh this year, I spent 8 lakh this year. This will give me 2 lakh of profit for this year. Not previous year, not current year or anything. This is purely based upon current year situations. So in this case, the answer is revenue with expenses. That's the correct answer, isn't it? Done, everyone? So this is matching concept. The current year income and current year expenses will give us the current year profit and loss account, giving us the information regarding current year profits on which we pay income tax. You don't pay tax for something which is related to previous years until or unless it is basically black money which is found out by the government itself, and income tax has opened the window and you are paying 300% of something. Yeah, this happens. Matlab if you in case of black money, 300% of it can go. Anyhow, let's move on to the next point. A company receives a dividend of X2 lakhs on its investments in other companies. In case of finance companies, it will be classified under which kind of activity? See, company receives a dividend. Maybe companies invested this money somewhere. You know, only then they will receive dividends. No? Cash flow from operating activities, cash flow from investing activities, cash flow from investing, operating, financing. There are three overall areas. And the next point that arises is the area of no cash flow. So there is nothing called no cash flow as you are receiving the money, you know. In this case, you are receiving dividend. Done. What's the answer? You are receiving dividend probably because acha, in case of finance company. Acha, everyone, I am not someone who belongs to this area. Right? That is true, na? I am not someone who belongs to the financial world. I work a lot and then every day I'm earning my salaries. This means what is happening, everyone? Due to this way of earnings, what's happening? For me, shares is an investment. But there's a person who has a business and he's into trading. He says every single day I have to buy and sell these assets. I don't want to keep it with me. You know? That's one sorted area. That means for them, he doesn't want to keep one particular investment purpose for a longer period. He says, I'll be trading on equity. I'll be trading every single day. I'll buy and sell. So what's going to be the answer in this case? The answer in this case is going to be operating, investing or financing. For him, it's a daily business. Finance company मतलब interest dividend is such a normal thing कि ठीक है ये तो आना ही था. This is for everyday basis. So for them, it's an operating activity. For you and me, it would be like अच्छा, other than our salary income, we are getting something else as well. Okay, what are we getting? We have some investments from where we are getting money. So in that case, it will turn out to investing activity. For any business which is involved in the production area, production is their operating activity, but shares, debentures, bonds, investments are their investing activity. Done? Next point. Let's move on to the next question, everyone. Low current ratio indicates what? पता है current ratio is what? Current ratio is CA divided by CL. Current ratio is one of the liquidity ratios. Business cannot meet long-term liability. Business can meet long-term liability. Business cannot meet short-term or can meet short-term. Acha, everyone. Normally, if I haven't, let me tell you about all these points together. Ideally, na, in our books, we are always given that ideal ratio of current ratio is 2:1. To pay off 1 rupee of creditor, I should be having 2 rupees in my pocket. That even after making a payment, I'm still left with 1 rupee. That means that all the time to meet any kind of contingencies, any specific payments that I have to make, 1 rupee is always with me. है ना? Now, if this ratio is low. Now, if it is 1.2:1, that means for every 1 rupee of creditor, I am having 1.2 of asset. Matlab, in case all the creditors come at once, I'm left with just zero point 0.2 rupees. Will this be enough for my monthly sustenance? If not, that means I will face liquidity crunches. Matlab, the moment anybody will come other than the creditors, I need money, I'll have to say no to them. And maybe it's someone who's reputed, someone who's testing me over credibility, that can create a trouble. At the same time, if this is bad, then think about someone who is having 3:1. You are required to have 1 rupee in your pocket. You keep maximum 2. If you are keeping 3, your 1 rupee is completely waste. If that 1 rupee would have been invested in some interest in based incomes, you would have earned. है ना? The money doesn't really multiply in our wallets, isn't it? But it multiplies outside it. So in this case, can we say the business cannot meet short-term liability, isn't it? Okay. So in this case, liquidity is the point. That in case the organization needs money, they face liquidity crunches. When a shareholder fails to pay calls, the company, if empowered by its articles, may. Everyone? Surrender the shares, forfeit the shares, reissue the shares, or all of the above. Surrender of shares matlab anybody is not able to pay and he comes to me and says, I am sorry, I will not be able to pay. I said, okay, now you will never be the shareholder of this company. Now he's basically coming up himself. If I kept on asking your money is due, your money is due, your money is due, and he doesn't pay, and then I get irritated with the fact that he's not paying, and then they will then I will remove their name. The difference is in surrender, we don't remove their name. They come up and say, please remove my name. In the second case, we are forcefully removing their names because they are not paying the money. You know? And then is reissue. Once you forfeit the shares, then you have the power to reissue as well. Give the share to someone else. Na? What's bad in it? So in this case, the correct answer is forfeiture. This is not at the option. First of all, you have the option of this, only then this can happen. People don't surrender their shares that easily. Up to khair, all these 3 points are out. Thanks to DMAT, either you pay or you don't buy the share. That's it. There's nothing called forfeiture anymore. In the practical world. Done? Next question. If the total sources of the funds are of rupees 2 lakh and the total application of funds, so this is fund flow question, everyone, then the working capital is what? Everyone, if the total sources of funds, acha, in case of fund flow, na, we have sources and we have application. Sources, they have got 2 lakh. How can we have 2 lakh and spend 2 lakh 50? That means there was working capital involved as well. That means the working capital will be here. Is it decrease in by working capital or increase by working capital, or is it not affected, or none of the above? The correct answer in this area is decrease by 50,000. You need funds here for application. That means you'll take this money from working capital, right? Done, everybody? Any doubts in this area? To fulfill your 2,50,000 needs, you will have to take 50,000 out of your working capital. Otherwise, how will they work? They will face problems, na? That's why. Done? The answer is A. Very good, everyone. Moving on to the next question. Which of the following would be included in fund flow? Fund flow statement is different from cash flow because cash flow is obsessed with only movement of cash. Fund flow says no, I'm not obsessed with cash. I work with the funds that you are yet to receive and the amount that you are yet to pay. I also consider that part as well. So the broader perspective is of fund flow. Depreciation, dividend, goodwill, or patent. Depreciation charges are to be adjusted. They are actually removed. Goodwill and patent. The purpose is if depreciation is of tangible assets. And amortization is for intangible. In both the cases, there is no movement of funds. I can just say my car is getting old and I can claim the loss because I'm using it in the business. So all of these are not in a form of any flow of funds. So correct answer is dividend. Because there is either receiving or giving. है ना? That's the answer, everyone. Which of the following is a characteristic of process cost accounting? Material, labor, overhead are accumulated by orders. Companies use this system if they process custom orders. Opening and closing stock and work in progress are related. Only closing stock is related, or none of the above. Acha nahi. In the examination, you will have only 4. Okay? The 5th one is not there. So now this becomes easier. In the process costing, what happens is everyone, acha theek hai. I am involved in paper making. In case of paper, they get the bark of the trees, they make it wet, they clean it up, and then it is compressed into paper paste, and then paper is made out of it, and it's a blank paper. You do something with it. It's a process overall, है ना? It's a lengthy process. So in this case, we already are done on the 31st of March. Obviously, now the entire stock is over, है ना? So we have the opening stock, we process it, and we have the closing stock as well. So opening and closing stock of the work in progress are related in the terms of completed units. Okay? In this case, you have opening, raw material, WIP, and the finished goods. Even the WIP is stated in such a way that 30% of this part is done, 40% of this part, 30% of this part is going on. So you have in the process costing, we have this much definitions of clarity of what exactly the work is already done or not. Okay? Acha. Now, this is the end of the session, everyone. But before I end my session, there's something important that I would like to discuss. Have you gone through our portal yet? Because at this point of time, there are many benefits which are available for you, which are ending soon. Okay, let me tell you. Go on to our website. Hello everyone, welcome to Officer 24/7. My name is Niharika Walia Bhatnagar and I am with you with the area of accounting and financial management for bankers. So what are we going to do today? We had start with the area of series for the practice questions. That means we start with the basic level of questions. So we are going to continue with the cluster of questions today. Today I think most of the questions are from the module A itself. Slightly a few questions are there from module C as well, but more from module A. First of all, if you like these particular sessions, then please go ahead and like the session, because one single like definitely makes a difference. And at the same time, please share this particular session among your peers. Okay, everyone, what are we talking about? Here comes the first question. Dash is a science and art of correctly recording all those transactions that result in transfer of money or money's worth. Bookkeeping, accounting, accountancy, or none of the above. What's going to be the answer, everyone? Dash is a science as well as an art of recording of all those transactions that result in the transfer. When we're talking about the transfer and other working, na, that is bookkeeping. Bookkeeping is doing nothing, no analysis, no study. We have only one thing, that is bookkeeping. We maintain the books of accounts. So here comes the next question. Under this concept of accounting, incomes are recorded when they are received in cash, or expenses are recognized on or that is during the accounting period in which they arise. If they are, and in which they arise irrespective of what they are paid, a hybrid system or accrual basis or cash basis or double entry bookkeeping. Double entry bookkeeping is basically the basic level through which we record everything, है ना? That's one of the basics that we know about, right? So what are we going to do with the answer there? Okay, so let's talk about this specific area as well. When we talk about the incomes are recorded when they are received in cash, and expenses are recognized when they arise, when you are writing about the due basis of expenses and cash basis of incomes, है ना? This is how the question goes. Income is on only and strictly on cash basis, while the expenses are on the basis of their due basis. So can I say in this case the correct answer is hybrid? You know, you have both the systems, that is expenses as well as incomes. Isn't it, everyone? Next question, everyone. Long-term internal liabilities plus the long-term debts plus the current liabilities minus the amount blocked in fixed assets. This is the formula of what exactly, everyone? Look at the formula very carefully. Gross working capital, net worth, net working capital, or capital employed. What's going to be the answer? Long-term internal liabilities plus long-term debts plus current liabilities. Acha, we are looking at all the liabilities except equity, yeah? And we are looking at all the fixed assets. Matlab, can you see we have got all the fixed assets here. We have got the internal liabilities and all the money that we are paying plus the current liabilities as well. In this case, what we are finding is net working capital. How are we finding the net working capital, everyone? Long-term internal liabilities, matlab this has also got capital plus the long-term debts are here, then the current liabilities are here. This gives us total liabilities. From total liabilities, if you remove only the area of the amount which is there with the fixed assets, matlab this is long-term debts, long-term assets are removed from the total. So what are we left with? If technically enough fixed assets are here and current are here. So technically what you're doing is CA minus CL. That is why they say this is net working capital. Okay, that's the formula. Everybody all sorted? So let's move on. Net working capital formula is actually current assets minus current liabilities. That's the formula. Okay? Acha, everyone, if you like this particular session of mine now, then please go ahead and like this particular session and don't forget to share it among your peers. Okay, moving on to the next question. Under this principle, the accounting data must be verified. In other words, documentary evidences of transactions must be made which are capable of verification by an independent respect. Duality concept, full disclosure, objectivity, or matching concept. What's the answer, everyone? Under this principle, the account data must be verified. You have to review it again. See, the point is, if you tell me that, ma'am, I think we have an expense of this much amount, I should be having a proof of that particular amount, no? Isn't it? Then, so what should be the answer in this case? The answer is objectivity. Objectivity principle clearly says if you say that the expenses this or expenses that, you need to prove it as well. If you cannot prove it, then what's the fun? You need to prove that part as well, na? Done, everybody? So let's move on to the next question. Acha, expenses plus losses plus assets is equal to revenues plus gains plus liabilities. Can we see this part, everyone? This is related to the area of realization concept, balance sheet equation, full disclosure, or double entry bookkeeping. Everybody, what's going to be the answer? Realization concept is based upon cash basis. Balance sheet equation is based upon the area of the assets is equal to the liabilities plus capital. Full disclosure is based upon you have to tell everything that is happening in the business. Everything in anything and everything that is happening around the business, it has to be told. So the correct answer is balance sheet equation, everyone. The balance sheet equation. This is equal to assets is equal to liabilities plus capital. If there are incomes, it would be added. If there is an expense, it would be subtracted. So if there are losses, they are normally a part of this area. Because it's a minus here, na? It would be a plus there. Got the idea? Done. Let's move on to the next question. Acha, I think this part requires a little zoom in. Okay, visible, everyone? According to the concept of money measurement matlab record everything in terms of money, है ना? If money is coming, money is going out, everything has to be recorded in a proper manner. And this will not be recorded in the books of accounts in terms of simplicity. Number one, it is to the area of simplicity. Number two, the death of the general manager, gratuity paid to the managers after the wife after his death, which will not be recorded. See, what is recorded is the simplicity of general management. See, simplicity is not recorded at all. Death of the general manager. See, the point is this part is also not recorded. You will record whatever amount you are paying to the particular person because he passed away. And the same amount has to be paid to his claimants. That is his family. है ना? Isn't it correct, everyone? So in this case, the correct answer is, see, you have to look forward towards the area of which part explains the money and which part doesn't. First part is not something which is explaining the money. Simplicity is not showing any worth. Death of a manager is also not showing any worth. What shows the worth is the gratuity. है ना? So the answer is A. 1 and 2 are not applicable. Acha, next question. This question is related to the area of prepaid expenses. Now is it better, everyone? Prepaid expenses are what expenses, everyone? Prepaid matlab the expenses which we are paying in advance. If you pay someone in advance, what will happen? If we pay someone in advance, and it is actually good for the organization. Why is it good? Because you can definitely flaunt about the asset that you have created because you paid the amount before time. Outstanding expenses are those expenses which you are supposed to pay. They are taken into account by the firm on the basis of which of the following concepts: money measurement, accrual basis, or accounting, or cost concept, or dual aspect concept. What's going to be the answer, everyone? When we talk about the accrual partner, that means the only the things are recorded on due basis. When we talk about money measurement, everything is recorded in the form of money. When we talk about the cost concept is basically the concept in which they are saying that the cost of everything, the historical cost, matlab the amount you actually paid for that, has to be recorded. And dual aspect talks about that debit is equal to credit. Okay, that is debit is equal to credit, also called dual aspect concept, where assets plus the assets is equal to liabilities plus capital. That is basic accounting equation, or also known as this equation as well. So what's going to be the answer according to you? If you are recording prepaid and outstanding now, that's because of due basis. I had already given the hint regarding the answer now. So move on to the next question. Health of the proprietor, which affects the business activity and hence the profit, is not recorded in the books due to the following: business entity concept, money measurement, realization, or going concern concept. What's going to be the answer, everyone? Okay. Now, when we talk about the health of the proprietor, see, the point is business and businessman are directly linked in terms of proprietorship, but not something which is linked with the others, because his survival would mean the business is also surviving. If he dies, the entire organization is also dead. But yet, when he puts money into the business, it is different. What is different there? If I invest my money into my business, that is called capital. If I withdraw money out of my business, that is called drawings. Isn't it? So in this case, what's gonna happen? What would be the amount that will be recording? Okay. Now, the correct answer in this case is going to be business entity concept, because if I put money into the business, it loses its entity. When we take the money out of the business, it loses its entity again. Basically, the business and the businessman are not the same. Oh, business entity. Sorry. There's one more point. Health of the proprietor, which affects the business activity, and hence is the profit is not recorded in the books of accounts. We are not recording this thing because this is not related to money. Your health is not business health, है ना? That is your personal health. That is money measurement concept, everyone. You cannot record someone else in terms of money. So correct answer in this case is this. Though we have done this point. Acha, what is the denominator of ITR, everyone? What is the denominator of inventory turnover ratio? The denominator of inventory turnover ratio. What's going to be the answer, everyone? The denominator of inventory turnover ratio. Inventory turnover ratio can be defined as this is the formula is cost of goods sold divided by the average stock, where cost of goods sold is opening stock plus purchase plus direct expense minus closing stock, divided by the average. Average is what? Opening stock plus closing stock divided by 2. Done, everyone? What is the denominator? In this case, the beginning inventory and the ending inventory divided by 2. That would be the answer, isn't it? So in this case, the correct answer is going to be beginning inventory plus the ending inventory divided by 2. That's the correct answer. Okay, the answer is D. Interest rate elasticity of the bond. Acha, what's a bond, everyone? Bond is basically the money that you take from someone, isn't it, everyone? When we talk about a bond is exactly what? Bond is basically the money that we borrow from someone. It is always negative number. Elasticity, interest rate elasticity of a bond, it is always a positive number. Or if the interest rate increases now, you will always find the price of it will also go high, because it is giving a higher interest rate, so people will run after it. Positive or negative number depending upon the market condition, or positive or negative number depending on the market value. What's going to be the answer? When we look at interest rate elasticity of a bond, when we are trying to find elasticity, it is always a positive number. Done. Next point. Wages paid for installation of machinery is what kind of expenditure? Wages paid for installation, everyone. This is not related to my normal expense. If I'm getting an AC and the AC is not yet installed, it is not ready to use. First of all, someone has to come, he has to transport the AC to my place, and then after this I will be putting up the AC there, है ना? The transportation and installation costs are required to keep the AC at my place. So technically, is it a capital expenditure, revenue, deferred revenue, or none? When there's any expense which is incidental or actually directly linked with the particular machinery or the asset or thereof, this is a capital expenditure. Okay? When anything is used in the business to build up a particular asset itself, that is called a capital expenditure, everyone. Done? Next question. Preliminary expenditure, discount allowed on issue of shares are examples of capital expenditure, deferred revenue, or revenue expenditure, everyone. What's going to be the answer? Preliminary expenses are those expenses which are incurred before the month or before the company is incorporated. Preliminary matlab something which is done way before the organization was even born. ठीक है ना? Done, everyone? So what's going to be the answer in this case? Preliminary expenses or the expenses of deferred revenue. Deferred revenue matlab you did an expense today and the benefit is reaped over a period of time. ठीक है? That is also covered in this area. Okay, so when we talk about this specific area, the answer would be what? Deferred revenue. Revenue is basically based upon the normal revenue of the organization. है ना? Revenue means income of the organization. The correct answer in this case is deferred revenue expenditure. This is an expenditure that you do before the organization is born and the benefit is reaped over the period of time. Okay, so let's begin with the class today. We were talking about the cluster of questions, as I told you in the previous class itself, that now we are having cluster of questions. What do you mean by cluster? Individually, each and every chapter is already done by me. You will find all the details in our YouTube channel itself. In the playlist, you will find the entire details of it, everyone. I'm sorry. And when we talk about our regular classes going on, This particular series is related to the area of a cluster of all the particular chapters. That means the first chapter to the last chapter. Overall in AFM, we have around 35 chapters divided into 4 specific modules. So now I have started the mixed questions so that you can actually understand what kind of questions are asked in the examination. Okay, everybody, let's begin with the session today. Before I proceed further, everybody please like this particular session and share it among your peers. Okay, here comes the first question, everyone. I hope it's visible. It says, which merit of double entry system ensures that both personal and impersonal account are kept, provided a complete record of business transactions? It provides a check on arithmetical accuracy of both accounts. It enables the preparation of detailed profit and loss account. It allows for a comparison of current affairs, current year's activities with previous years, or it provides complete transactions, business transactions, everyone. What's the answer according to you? Go ahead and answer. And just give me a moment, please. Apologies, everyone. What's the answer? But the double entry bookkeeping plays a very important role. When we talk about double entry bookkeeping, this particular system is responsible for the entire modern system that we're currently using. This particular system really helps us in understanding the dual aspect. Matlab, if I receive something, then obviously I pay something as well. Na? So in this case, what exactly happens is you have a complete record of the transaction. Matlab double entry का मतलब क्या हुआ? What do you mean by the term double entry? Double entry matlab you record both the aspects. What are you getting and what are you losing? For example, I buy a machinery. So I get a machinery and I lose money. Right? It is machinery account debited to cash. Done, everyone? This is a scenario regarding machinery. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. The next question relates to the area of materiality. How does the concept of materiality impact accounting practices? Materiality means anything which is very important for the organization. It requires the strict recording of all the financial transactions regardless of their significance. It allows for the exclusion of trivial or insignificant items that do not affect the decision making, or it mandates the presentation of dissimilar items separately in different financial statements. It prioritizes theoretical correctness over the practical usefulness in the financial reporting. What's going to be the answer, everyone? How does the concept of materiality impact? Concept of materiality is related to the area of what is very, very important, what is very, very relevant for the business. Matlab, this doesn't say that you have to record everything. Disclosure is the father of materiality. It says complete disclosure. Whatever is happening in the business, it is required that you tell each and everything about it. But when we talk about materiality says, nah, let's not record everything. If you are asking about a particular project, I will tell you about that project only. Nothing more, nothing less. So in this case, the correct answer is it allows the exclusion of trivial or insignificant items. Matlab, things are totally related only to what we are dealing with. Not everything is going to be recorded in it. You know? Done. So let's move on to the next question as well. Under what circumstances might an entity choose not to present separately in financial statements according to Ind AS 1? When they are immaterial, dissimilar, when they are insignificant in value but have no impact on financial performance, when they are material but cannot be accurately determined, or when they are immaterial but of similar nature or function. Ind AS 1. See, if the point is totally dissimilar, if the point is not fitting anywhere, it is not even important. Why should we disclose it to anyone? It is just an additional scrap information which is not benefiting anybody. है ना? It should be beneficial ना, if I'm giving some information that should give you the insight of the organization. If it is not giving you anything, then you have to stop right there. So in this case, what will happen? In this case, the answer will be when they are immaterial and of dissimilar nature or function. Merit of double entry system ensures that both the personal and impersonal accounts are kept, providing a complete record of the business transaction. It provides check on arithmetical accuracy on both accounts. It enables the preparation of detailed profit and loss account. It allows the comparison of current year's activities with the previous years, and it keeps the complete record of the business transactions. What's going to be the answer? Everybody? Both personal and impersonal are kept. It's the same point. Double entry bookkeeping. Double matlab complete na. We're recording each and everything. So that comes out to be it keeps a complete record of the business transactions. How does the convention of conservatism affect the presentation of the financial statements? Conservatism, everyone. How do we define conservatism? Conservatism is beautifully explained. It says anticipate all the losses but not profits. You should be ready for the losses that might come in the future, but you cannot party before you get the profit. Simple reasoning. ठीक है ना? It tends to overstate net income and assets and understate liabilities. It's actually the opposite. It just takes everything in such a hyped way कि अच्छा I might have to pay, पक्का पक्का I have to pay. It becomes that. It tends to understate net assets and income and overstate liabilities and expenses. It tends to overstate both net assets and income and liabilities and expenses, or it tends to understate both the net assets and income, liabilities and expenses. वैसे ना when we talk about this area, we do not overstate our expenses, or we normally write a little more about liabilities and the expenses. Ki, nahi, this must be there, this must be there. Even though it is not done yet, we are still worried about that. ठीक है ना? So in this case, one particular thing that happens is we do not overstate the incomes at all. But in this case, you understate your net assets and income. But when we talk about liabilities and expenses, we try to note down as much as possible in terms of your provisions. That this might happen. That is, it says anticipate the losses but not profits. Done, everybody? Let's move on to the next question. According to the principle of conservatism, how should an accountant approach the recognition of revenues and expenses? What's the specific manner, everyone? Recognizes both immediately and the expenses only when realized. Recognize both revenues and expenses when realized. Or recognize revenues only and realized when realized, and provide for all the losses. Or the last one is recognize expenses immediately in terms of revenues. See, when you see the certainty of income, then record the income. When you see the losses, then record the losses. Matlab, you have to remember that you should note down your incomes as early as possible. Losses as early as possible, because you found out there is something going on. So you will definitely make sure that things are going well. है ना? But when we talk about the area of in terms of conservatism, when we talk about the second area, that is, we talk about the possible losses. If you see a loss, hurriedly you have to record it right away. But if you see a profit, you have to wait till the time it actually materializes. If it's not materializing, it's not of any worth. And now, why to put yourself under so much of pressure कि पता नहीं क्या होगा, maybe the losses are coming, where the profits are we are making or not. We have to note it down in terms of conservatism that we have to be prepared. What if we are not able to pay? है ना? Done, everyone? Next point. What is the main function of ledger, everyone? To prepare the trial balance, to record transactions in the journal, to classify transactions under appropriate accounts, or to summarize financial statements. What's the correct answer? The main function of ledger, everyone. Ledger is basically a tabular form of journal. मतलब journal is recording everything, है ना? In this case, what will happen? When we say to, it is not done to prepare trial balance, it is basically to classify the specific transactions. वैसे it becomes the basis of trial balance only, because first of all we prepare journal, then we prepare ledger, then we prepare the trial balance. So this is the basis for trial balance, but the reason is to classify things and repute in their proper accounts, है ना? Done? What is the purpose of classifying transactions in ledger? To prepare the trial balance, to calculate profit and loss, or to find the combined effect of entries of each individual account, or to record in detail. The correct answer is C only. Similar kind of question. Not the same, but similar. And everybody? Now moving on to the next point. Which stage of accounting cycle involves the preparation of trial balance to final accounts? Acha, recording, classifying, summarizing, or posting, everyone? Everyone, what's the answer? When we talk about journal, from journal, this is called recording. From journal to ledger, it's called posting. From ledger to trial balance, this is called summarizing, and putting everything in different ledger accounts, that is called classifying. So in this case, the correct answer is summarizing. Okay, just writing all these points in detail for you. I hope it helps. This part is recording. ठीक है, recording, posting, summarizing, and classifying. Done. Next point, which book is considered as the book of first or original entry? Ledger, trial balance, journal, or cash book? From where this particular area originates, everyone? What's the answer? When we talk about booking of original first or original entry, it is always journal. Let's go ahead. Answer is journal. What is the term used for the process of transferring debit and the credit items for journal to the respective accounts in ledger? Journal, balancing, posting, or summarizing. When we are transferring the particular items from debit and credit from the journal towards the ledger, that is called posting. Okay? Then what is balancing? Balancing is when we make a ledger, this side is more, this side is less. Wherever you put that particular amount, that is called posting, everyone. That is called balancing, sorry. If the balancing figure comes here, to make it balance, this is carried down. This process is called balancing. Chaliye. Right? Last question for the day. Which of the following is not a form of personal account? Natural personal, artificial personal, representative personal, or real personal accounts? Natural, you and me. Artificial, HDFC. Representative personal accounts, outstanding expenses, prepaid expenses, The last answer is real personal accounts. There is nothing called this. There is a real account or personal account. Then everyone, that's it for the day. Before we end the session, everyone, let's go to our website and just check it out. Go into the area of our website. There you can use the code Y541 and you will find our entire courses there. Hello everyone, welcome to Officer 24/7. My name is Niharika Walia Bhatnagar and I'm with you with the area of AFM. Acha. In the last class, we had started with the practice questions. We would be continuing further today. Before we proceed further, everyone, please go ahead and like this particular session and don't forget to share it as well, everyone. Okay. So, what is it that we're talking about today? We're going to talk about the blend of questions that we have started for individual chapters. Please go through the previous playlist in which I've covered all these topics individually. Right? Now, let's start with the particular topic further. The first question. Accounting information refers to only events which are concerned with the business firm. Accounting information is presented in the financial statements. A is correct, B is wrong, or both are correct, or one is wrong, one is right, and both are wrong. वैसे तो it is totally related with the area of the business events only. And yes, it is related to the area of financial statements. And this one is correct. Assertion is correct, but I won't think that accounting information. This question has to be checked again because both are correct. Because accounting information that we note down in the books of accounts is based upon the actual accounting, and accounting information is presented in the financial statements. Yes, it is done that way. So this answer is wrong. When average cost is declining, this is a part of costing there. Average cost is your mean. मतलब you have the higher or the lower cost and then you find the average of it. Marginal is the variable cost. है ना? So what would be the answer in this case? Marginal cost must be declining, marginal cost must be above average cost, or basically when average cost is declining, marginal is also declining. They both go hand in hand. But when we talk about the specific area of when average cost is declining, at that point of time, the marginal cost must be above the average cost. Only at that time the marginal cost is above the average. But once one particular part of it starts declining, then this also starts declining further. ठीक है? Next question, everyone. Which of the following will result into sources of funds? Increase in current assets, decrease in CA, increase in current liabilities, or decrease in current liabilities? Codes. What's going to be the answer, everyone? One and two, two and three, one and three, or two and four? What's the correct answer according to you? The answer is 1 and 3. Into sources of funds, matlab you are getting money. One is you are getting money if you are having an increase in current assets or a decrease in current liabilities. In this case, you are having, sorry, increase in current liabilities. Matlab if I'm taking a lot of loans or if I'm buying a lot of current assets. In both the areas, this will lead to sources of funds. Sources yani you are getting funds for the business. Done? Let's move on to the next point. One and three. Acha, everyone, the marginal costing contribution is equal to what? This was among the last few chapters that we did. What do you mean by this? Everybody? Sales minus FC? Or sales minus variable cost, sales minus profit, or sales minus variable cost minus fixed cost. In this case, when you're trying to find the answer, this is basically marginal costing is equal to the variable cost. The term contribution is based upon only one part. The actually main method is sales minus variable cost is equal to contribution minus the fixed cost will give us the profit. So your answer should be sales minus variable cost. Done? Insurance expenses paid to bring an equipment from the place of purchase to the place of installation. Okay, very simple thing. I would have bought an AC and I'm getting the AC to my place. है ना? What will happen? If I get an AC and I'm bringing it to my place, then what will happen? There's only one thing that will happen. The particular transportation cost is going to be a part of the cost of AC. Isn't it? Because till the time I don't get that particular AC to my place, how will things work out? है ना? Simple yet very important point. Revenue expenditure, capital expenditure, deferred revenue or operating. I am building up something. Na? When I'm trying to build up something or I'm trying to make something, that's a part of capital expenditure. Basically, the term capital expenditure says when the things are ready to use. We are trying to make it to a situation where it is ready to use. Not using as such, but once a thing is brought to a situation where it is ready to use, it's called capital expenditure. So that's capital expenditure for you, everyone. Next point. Acha, just a moment. Just a moment, everyone. We were talking about capital expenditure now. So just what do you mean by the revenue expenditure then before we move forward? What do you mean by revenue expenditure? Revenue is related to the area of revenue is related to the specific area of regular earnings. मतलब anything that you are doing for the business for your regular earnings is revenue based expenditure. ठीक है? So here comes the next question, everyone. ABC Limited was incorporated with an authorized share capital of 1 lakh equity shares of rupees 10 each. The board of directors of the company decided to allot 10,000 shares credited as fully paid to the promoters of the company of their services, which account should be debited to the books of accounts. Whenever you give any shares to your promoters are whom? The people who actually brought the particular company into being. And it is their hard work that the company is existing, isn't it? If the company is existing because of them, then they are normally it should be taken to the promoter account. Whereas it is not promoter account, either we take it into the area of incorporation expenses, or whenever we are giving them the share capital, then we will have to take it to the goodwill account. The answer is C, everyone. The answer is goodwill account. Next point, what do you mean by master budget? Financial budget, functional budget, operational budget, summary budget, or financial budget? What do you mean by master budget? Simple way of explaining the master budget refers to the budget which is containing all the specific uh, budgets in itself. Matlab production budget, sales budget, cash budget, then expenses budget, income budget. Then we have different types of budgets. Na? When we are trying to earn, when we are trying to produce, all those things are included in it. All those are not included. Matlab we create all these particular budgets individually, but in this case we also create a cluster of it as well, right? Done. Chaliye. So in this case the correct answer should be functional budget, operational, operating, summary, or financial. The answer is summary budget, the budget which is the cluster of all the budgets. Got the idea? I'm sorry. The main difference between marginal and absorption costing lies between direct cost, fixed overhead, variable or semi-variable. Everybody, what's the difference? Marginal as well as absorption. Marginal is obsessed with only one thing, variable costing. Absorption looks at every cost. Matlab, the marginal cost says that I will just include average cost. Matlab, I will just include the variable cost, I'm sorry. While absorption costing talks about the fixed cost plus variable cost. So the basic area of difference lies is that this particularly focuses on the area of variable cost. The main point is variable overheads, everyone. Done, everyone? Easy, pyara sa question. But can it be asked in the examination? Indeed, such kind of questions can be asked in the examination. Okay, how does the concept of materiality impact accounting practices? It requires a strict recording of all financial transactions regardless of their significance. It allows the exclusion of trivial or insignificant items that do not affect decision making. It mandates the presentation of dissimilar matlab the ones which are not similar, right? Dissimilar items separately in the financial statements, or it prioritizes theoretical correctness over practical usefulness. Whereas in accountancy, you will never find there is some theory that is important. Matlab, till date, I'd been learning accountancy from every nook and corner is always a practical part. The theory is something that we come to know about or we understand only when we are very clear about the practical side of it. Because the theory can be easily understood through its application, isn't it? So, when we're talking about materiality, concept of materiality, matlab, materiality simply says do not record everything. Record only those specific things which are very important or very material, very much relevant for the organization. Okay, so in this case, it mandates the when we talk about the concept of materiality, na, it means that everything which is really important should be specified, but it allows the for the exclusion of trivial or insignificant items. Matlab, everyone, for a specific decision, whatever is most important variable, they should be considered. You know? Done? So this is the answer. B. It allows exclusion of the trivial or insignificant items. Matlab, the ones which are not really very big and they should not be paid attention to. And this is not based upon the CA firm, or you can say the organization which they're talking about. It is based upon the amount which is involved. Then everyone, now let's move on to the next question. Under what circumstances might an entity choose not to present items separately in the financial statements? वैसे तो AS 1 says full disclosure. When we talk about the circumstances in which AS1 does not present separately, in every organization you have to do it. When they are immaterial and dissimilar, that is one particular point. Then is second is basically when they are significant, when they are immaterial and of a dissimilar nature function, when they are significant but no does not have a specific major impact, when they have a material but it cannot be accurately determined, or when they are immaterial but the similar nature or the function is there. Okay, just a moment. Somehow the answer has been said attached. The answer is actually A. Whatever is very immaterial and very dissimilar in nature, you don't really have to tell it. But all the significant items which affects the decision making of the company, they should be told in advance. Otherwise, company can face major problems because of this. That part is definitely correct. Done, everyone? So in this case, the correct answer is that when they are immaterial or dissimilar, then you need not to tell anything about it. Which merits of double entry system ensures the both that both personal and impersonal accounts are kept, providing a complete record of the business transaction, everyone. It allows the checking of arithmetical accuracy. Then it enables the preparation of the profit and loss account. It allows it a comparison of current year activities with the previous years. And then is it's complete it completes a complete record of the business. When we have a bookkeeping and we are trying to reconcile now, then whatever information we possess and whatever we are imparting, that particular thing is termed in terms of full disclosure principle.